opposed?
Yep.
I'll be over to the City of North Plains Parks and Recreation Board at 6 P.M. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please take roll call.
Thank you. Chair Nenenkamp,
Here.
Vice Chair King,
Here.
Patty Burns,
Here.
Zach Gaynor,
Here.
and Sherry Simmons.
Here.
And your ex officio is Counselor Cameron Martinez.
Hi.
It's on Zoom.
Okay. And so has everyone had an opportunity to read the minutes from June 12th?
Seems like a long time ago.
Is there any questions or additions or changes to that? And entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I hear none. Great. Public comment, there's no one on Zoom or in the audience that we wouldn't expect, so. New business. So applicant for Parks and Rec board vacancy, Andreas. Brad, Patner. Yeah, perfect, perfect, all right, thanks. I want you to tell us a little bit about why you like to speak on the board. Yep, pull that mic in close. You like that, so.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you for having me here. I'm a somewhat recent North Plains resident. We moved here last year in the fall, did the development over at Green Hill. Yeah, I think that, through a series of events, I became a bit more involved with local government and, discovered that it can be, frustrating, but also rewarding at the same time. So I was like, oh, I'll actually become more involved as a result of that, being able to give back to the community, being able to work towards improvement. I'm also a father of a 4-year-old that loves parks and playgrounds. So that's, an added motivation as well. So, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Barry, do you have any questions for him? With that?
Lost my page.
I can come back to you. How about you, Patty?
Not at this time, I don't.
Evan?
What do you think of the Bryn Hill Park so far?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. I think they've done a very good job there. We enjoyed that, like large green spaces, like very, very functional play areas, and I think something that we actually love. It's like they do partnerships, I think, and we kind of noticed that that's actually big improvement over artificial turf. Like it just amazing, like it's very conductive, looks static, like creativity. That's something I was looking to how. But we enjoy the parks there. I think they've done a good job. As a user, that's it's a user that goes to the park, we enjoy it. I'm not sure anything behind the scenes that, yeah.
Yeah. That? No.
I do have a question about the static electricity. Is that something that the park board is aware of and looking at, or it has it been brought to the attention of the
Elementary school has the same type of curve and there's little black balls that get on the kids' clothing and stuff too. It's kind of the nature of the.
Is there something that can be sprayed on
You can use fabric softener,
Yeah,
which I've
okay.
done occasionally, but it wears off. And I know we were given more of those pellets, but they kind of get lost. And especially if you're trying to clean things out and blow them out,
Oh, it's really good. Even with water can help, like watering it during like certain water conditions. But yeah, I think that's the way to there's the adding that. So yeah.
We do not have an irrigation system set over there. Yeah.
We opted to go with the, just to answer some of your questions, but we opted to go with that this time versus the bark tips because it got to be a big maintenance issue also for the city as far as replacing the tips under the slides and
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to stay on top of maintenance, so we opted to go down this path this time to see how we'll put it up.
And it looks fantastic, but,
So I can see the pluses on both sides. so.
yeah.
It's always, it was always fun to go around shopping your siblings and your
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah, you can only
Go
get,
down the side just for that.
you can only get shocked so many times by your kid as a father. So,
Very true. Yeah, more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my background, as for my background, I'm a software developer. I'm running for over 4 years now with my own contracting business. I work with the contractor for industries and I come up record. Yeah, maybe within that software background, and within multiple projects, I've been working on project management. I've been managing different projects, mostly software related. But I was actually thinking about certain aspects of that that could be applied to even, local government work. I think that generally, even with parks, and this is an assumption because I don't have a lot of the context, that the projects are completed as a full project is completed once, and then we move to the next project next year or whatever, like the next part. And I think software will be something that's more like agile, like an agile development methodology. So it'd be interesting to see how, that could be applied to something like parks development, where multiple parks throughout the year get smaller improvements that are completed, and then incrementally throughout the years, they'll, get more and more features instead of waiting for a park to be completed at once, waiting a long period of time, spending a huge amount of money, like,
Our projects usually move pretty slow.
yeah, I figure, that's why I'm like, well, park doesn't need probably, there's probably regulations, but it doesn't need everything, to be called a park. Like grass is a good start, and then amenities can be added.
Thank you.
I haven't yet. So at this point, if we make recommendations to the council. What's the consensus with the group?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so the next city council meeting will be
I've already got it scheduled for the 21st.
21st.
So next Monday.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to attend. Yeah, you're not required to attend. You're welcome to attend. I think the council already knows who you are, most of them, and so you can attend in person and introduce yourself real briefly, and they'll do it during their consent agenda. They'll just approve it. So, yeah.
Thank you very much for showing interest, and hopefully you'll see you next month. Yeah. You can hang around or you can leave. It's up to you. It'll be a pretty short meeting, so.
I'll hang around.
Stay right there. Yep. So, you probably all saw that we need a Parks and Rec representative for the Parks Foundation Board. Don had gone on the board and then he ended up leaving the park. So he's no longer on it. So we have to
Not on this board either?
No, he didn't want to, he said, I want to give other people a chance. I don't want to stay on for multiple terms,
I see, found it.
possibly because things weren't getting done. I think he's one of those, people like to see things get done quickly, but
Have certain expectations.
exactly. Well, and especially the way supply chain is now and all that stuff, and permits,
Everything dragged.
everything's taken longer. So
Did a little bit better. loosen that screw just a tiny bit.
So is there anyone that has an interest right now or maybe being a part of that Parks Foundation board?
Yeah, that was. like,
I don't think they even meet once a month, do they, Doug?
What's that?
Do they even meet once a month?
I don't think so. I think it's once a quarter right now. They really don't have a lot of projects in front of them right now.
Right, that's what you guys are here for.
Right. Hopefully we'll.
But yeah, you can talk to Cindy about it. She's the secretary of the
or
foundation.
Something.
I can speak to it a little bit because I'm a member.
Oh, perfect.
Which I was like, oh, that's funny that this is on the agenda, but I did see it. And yes, I think the whole thing was just to have like that connection point with someone from the Parks Board on there. And yeah, we did really have a lot going on, and we try to meet monthly, but like we haven't met this summer. I mean, it probably could be like quarterly at this point. But we usually do set up a time. We were doing like the third Thursday at 4. And it's at the senior center. But we didn't meet in June or July. And so I don't think we'll meet again until September, probably. But yeah, I think everyone just wanted kind of that connection piece of how, having someone from the Parks Board. So get information and run ideas back and forth of how we can support the city and the parks.
So I'm gonna say yes right away. I have to think about it. They are working my schedule.
I do, but have to. Take a little time to start that second full-time job here in a month, so. I want to make sure I can make everything work. I don't want to say yes and then. Well, I just want everyone to think about it and we can come back to this next month. And hopefully, have a couple people waiting. We'll see.
What Thursday? After the 1:15, or is it?
The fourth, I think.
Third Thursday. Center.
Yeah, and I don't know if we'll change it the next, I know, like my schedule, like 4 was working, others were, it was kind of up in the air. We can totally, if someone adds to it. The other thing I was thinking, if someone didn't want to fully be a member, I didn't know like how we do for council, if there could be like a rotating ex officio or something that attends. So, someone, you guys are always changing.
Yeah.
And then we can all.
Yeah.
Around top.
My only concern is for the day, because that's when usually the day that we have the events.
But they've been doing it for a year.
But yeah, I don't think we do anything on the third.
No.
Usually the first and the second.
So I think it's a great idea, Carmen. What do you guys think about all thing like that? Is that something that? I'd be open to something like that. I hopefully I'm gonna get your opinion too. So.
Yeah.
I think that would work better.
I wouldn't mind that either myself. I think that gives them. If they're looking for more input or more feedback, but I think that's great. It's different, yeah, more variety, yeah. So, I think it's a little bit more of a, probably on Lori's part as far as scheduling goes.
Well, yeah, they're separate from city meetings and stuff, so I don't even know when they meet. I mean, I never get a notice, so someone would, yeah, so,
Maybe
If
we could just include Doug and then whoever's taking.
and me, and
Yes.
me, and then I can forward it. I mean,
Two.
it'd be nice if we could set everybody up for 6 months
Schedule.
ahead of time.
Have that at our meeting that happens beforehand.
I can schedule that out, but that's pretty easy to do.
Yeah. And the foundation board to come up with a schedule of when their meetings are going to be. They haven't met for all summer,
Yeah, that's,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I can talk to Cindy about that because that was part of the thing too, is a meeting would come up and she'd mention something a few days before and people would be like, oh, I can't meet, I can't make that time. Or so it was kind of a little wishy-washy, if I'm being honest.
Mhm.
So it'd probably be good too, to have like us on schedule. So everyone is aware of when the meetings are. We've done virtual, but it's kind of been hit or miss because Cindy was using, I forget what that's called, like GoToMeeting or something, when she wasn't
Oh,
doing
yeah.
Zoom.
Yeah.
So it was it was a little funky, but yeah, we can make that work too if it has to be.
Is she struggling a little bit with what's going on at home with the time and stuff, maybe, or, yeah.
Right. But I can talk to her about that. Maybe we could just get like a schedule and kind of how Lori does for us in different city meetings, just like fill in the blanks for who can attend when.
Sounds great.
Cool.
Can I be able to attend
Yeah.
more than I can not? But I think about 4 o'clock, that'd be a little tough if there's a virtual, I've got to log in. Should work.
Yeah.
Much easier.
Okay. Okay. Are you guys open to using Zoom and stuff too then, or?
I mean, I think so, because I don't know why we actually started use the GoToMeeting. I think Cindy just kind of set it up and everyone did that, but we probably just should use Zoom.
Just go to more of a team.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it always seemed harder and sometimes it wouldn't work on her end, so it was a little difficult.
Okay, we'll dig a little deeper and you talk to Cindy and we'll make it all work there, I'm sure, so.
And
Okay,
I can always help set up the Zoom meetings and provide you all with that, just like I do all the other meetings. And I'll check with Annie. We've never put you guys' meetings on the city calendar, but maybe we should start doing that if someone from this board is going to start attending those, just to get a heads up of, so that you can always go to the calendar and find out when it is. So,
Yeah, that would be nice.
Because the link will always be there too.
yes, exactly. The Zoom link will always be on the meeting, on the calendar date. So, okay.
So discussion on possible projects and costs to give Parks Foundation for fundraising ideas. And we talked about the kitchen here. Dustin and I had talked a little bit about last week here. And part of what we had kind of talked about was maybe blowing the wall out or something, but do we really want to go down that path? Because we think structurally that may trigger a whole lot more mechanical things and stuff, and structural things. Or do we want to just remodel what's there? It's probably fairly easy to come up with some costs also on just remodel what's there.
Well, we're thinking have somebody come out and give a quote for doing that and see if that's like a low ceiling wall or not.
Plus the part that we get into then is,
But that's comes with a quote, right? They look at
I
it.
don't know if you can.
I know what I looked at was the 2014, 2015 plan for the remodel of everything. And one of the plans that I saw was actually, it went all the way up to where the storage door is. I don't know what that little black thing is that's by the outlet. I'm not
Vent,
exactly-
I
that
think.
vent.
That's that.
I don't know what's underneath there or what's underneath the crawl space, but the plans that I saw basically extended from like 100 some square feet to 500 square feet pretty much to include the, the storage space back there. But didn't mention anything about support beams or whatnot. But what I could do is I can get a quote for just remodeling that space right there as is. I can get maybe another quote for knocking out the wall up to where that storage door is. Another option is maybe knocking out the wall out there, but I don't know how that's going to affect with, future garlic festival.
I think that would be a lot more costly.
Yeah, I would think so too.
But those are kind of like the options we're going with. And I know that space is really, really teeny tiny the way it is.
By looking at the beam structure in here though, I doubt that's a supporting wall over there.
So I don't think it's a supporting wall either. But I would need to
We
have
used
some
to use
check.
that underneath there for storage of chairs
Yeah.
and tables and stuff too. That's kind of an open space, or was at one time.
Yeah, and I don't know what the utilities look like in there as well. Not that'd be someone who's more of a building actual
So,
building contractor.
I know right now, between, I think it was 20, 2020, what was it? Oh, I don't have it, but we have like 150,000 set aside in the next couple of years to be, building that out and stuff too. So I don't know what more it would take, maybe we can still do some fundraising to cut some of that cost and stuff too.
I believe there's also community grants out there that we could apply for, specifically for facilities. I think Andy had mentioned something about trying to apply for it before, but got denied. For I think was the siding on the outside, but
Oh.
we can always
Okay.
try again.
Okay. So this is something we talked about taking back to the foundation and stuff too. We want to wait till we get something to look at then to see what's up.
I can see what we can do, but if we extend it, I kind of want to know what do we need to put in the new space if we make it bigger. But if we keep it the way it is, I figure we'll just update the appliances and the materials, and that's just easy. But
I think it would be a gut start over because those cabinets are terrible.
I just need to know a list of what do we need as part of this, and do we need, like, let's say, a serving window? Like, what is our wish list? And I think if we start off with a wish list, say, hey, let's bump it out to that doorway right there, that would give the contractor a better idea. And I don't know what the kind of the vision is for the kitchen, and I don't want to have like a just go in here blind and
Right.
contractor give us the world.
You use quite a bit, don't you?
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, to say, you can-
Probably what, 3 times a year maybe? That's about right.
Oh, no,
Oh, I think that's-
6 at least. Cause
Yeah, you just know like how the foundation plans to raise the money, is it kind of businesses or are you kind of work with residents?
I think they're gonna look at grants.
Okay. grants.
well, and
And
businesses, because like Intel will
Right.
match some things. So it's kind of a combination of, and they will do some residential, some fundraising in town too, maybe at some of the smaller events.
That's perfect, yeah, because it would have been mostly like, individuals in the city, I think that would have been probably a bit harder to connect to the project like this compared to something like that. But yeah, that would work.
Well, yeah,
Well, I think like the major thing that Patty just said is just need more space in there.
Upgrade, commercial use item.
do you think so? Because commercial, now you're talking, whole different.
Well, if we could do commercial, we could rent it out and make more money off the building.
I think, as far as like the hood system, I think we would be required to do that.
I could see that, but the
I mean,
commercial,
unless you go to just like a high grade home kitchen.
I know what we spent on our church 20 years ago, to have the, commercial dishwasher, the commercial stove, the commercial oven. It was astronomical.
Well, look at the senior center.
Yeah, if you saw those numbers there, you'd have a good idea what this would cost.
Right.
In fact, you could more than double that.
But now, did you guys have, like a walk-in refrigerator, like what we got at the center?
We only have 2 large refrigerator freezers.
Double, yeah.
Double, yeah.
Did you have a good system put in?
This is the kind of information I would like to have to be able to tell the contractor, do we need a commercial, or do we want just a high-end, like, residential type kitchen? Do we want 2 ovens, ovens and stoves? Yeah.
That we could do. Don't want just like and then we probably have to have a 3 compartment sink. I know when we went to Pilgrims, they had a dishwasher, they got a 3 compartment sink.
Yeah.
So,
So let's have that.
yeah,
That's one of the things maybe we can cut out would be the.
Right.
commercial dishwasher part.
right.
Not even a regular dishwasher, just the sink?
Three compartments.
Yeah.
And maybe just a regular dishwasher.
So if you have a line, you might as well just do it.
Right, yeah.
And then what about code? Are you thinking big 6 burner and a commercial one or?
That would be
I think that,
nice to have a bigger stove, a griddle would be nice. That's what,
those will come with the. little-
right, that's what we have at the senior center.
And what about
That's why you
like-
can do burgers and, I hate our ovens at the senior center, I do. They are, I mean, you have to watch them every second
Mhm.
for your stuff to burn,
Mhm.
and those are,
They're industrial type.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, so
Yeah.
I could go for a regular oven, you know, double.
We've got any
double-
requirements you think for use? I mean,
Oh, yes, yeah, I mean, probably a double one, oven, but yeah, I don't think you have to go commercial, just, you know, a good size oven and, big refrigerator.
does that help?
It helps. It's like a commercial light.
Yeah.
Based on the three options you recommended, what do you think would be best? You get basically remodel inside, blow out a wall, expand outside, what do you think would be best long term? Based on the three, I guess, if we can kind of start there, then we kind of narrow it
Yeah.
down. What do we think?
That's what I'm trying to think of based off of what the plans for this building is. I know we scrapped it, you know, was it almost 10 years
Well,
ago?
that came with a lot of different things.
A lot of
going
different
on.
things.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah,
That was a big deck and extended the. roof.
Glass doors all the way around.
I mean, it
Open
was.
There was a
this all up,
It was
adding
good.
air conditioning.
yeah.
The one thing. So because this is a city building, do you have to use specific contractors?
Probably.
So that would be the. first thing.
Depending on the cost, we'd have to put a RFP out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What is that?
Request for proposal.
that gives anybody the opportunity to bid on the job.
Oh, okay.
And then they all turn them in on one day and our city engineer and Andy and Dustin all go through them and based on cost and availability of supplies and who's the best. That's,
And at that time too, if we get that number, we work toward that number, and let's say we don't get the grants and we don't get a big fundraising like we thought we would, then with a certain amount of time, we need to talk about it again, say, okay, do we dial things back, or what do we do to still move forward with improvement?
right.
So.
We only go out 5 feet versus 12 feet or whatever,
Right.
so.
That stage get used often?
no.
Not very.
No.
It was used for the book sale. That was probably the last time. it
Well,
was used.
and before COVID, Mo did plays during the summer. She had but that was like,
Very hit and miss.
yeah, it was maybe once a summer, maybe not. So, yeah, in general, the stage, I don't think would be missed. No,
If somebody needed this.
it is.
They could rent one.
Yeah, it is wasted space as far as, I mean, I'd like, not that I have a say in it, but I think it makes sense to go out that way and use the space that's being wasted right now.
Yeah.
So,
We have a kind of preliminary study off of like kitchens based off of other kitchens in the area that are for rent. And because that'd be the other part is how much can we rent it for? And, you know, Bill has the numbers on, you know, what will make it work and what is it gonna be worth it?
Well, I had, a guy come to me about the senior center, and he looked in and saw it, and yeah, I'd like to rent that, but he wanted to pay on, basis of like a sales for it.
Mm.
Well, that's nice.
It's not going to happen, because if you don't make anything, we don't make anything.
Yeah.
So,
well, we definitely already people that are renting the facility. Some of them are including the kitchen like this Saturday. And I went in there and you have a lot of stuff in there I assume it's yours, paper plates and cups and,
No, that's ours. City stuff. Yeah, that's all city stuff.
yes, the guys will be coming over cleaning it. Okay,
You mean stuff sitting up in the cupboards?
no, on the counter, there's a ton of stuff on the counter.
Okay, well, I don't know whose that is, because, Donna came to me over the weekend and said, your fruit now that you got in the refrigerator, and I said, I don't have any fruit in the refrigerator. She goes, oh, we threw it out. She goes, was it yours? I said, no, I haven't been here for anything. So I don't know who rented it last. That's who you need to look back on.
Mhm.
Or used it.
And would they leave? I mean, there is stacks of paper plates, cups, bowls.
Maybe they pulled them out of the,
But some of it left over from when the church was here. When the church.
If it is, it was tucked away really well because the counters have been clean when I've been in here setting up for the last
let's
3
look
months.
in there.
Because there's a lot of stuff in there.
Last time we were in there for the,
Rubber cookie.
there was stuff all on the.
Yeah.
counters then. And. where did
always
we
been.
get the hot dog? Did we do hot dogs?
Yeah, for the
National Night Out.
No,
I mean, that's fine. We can take it. I'm going to put it.
October, last October for the. There's always been stuff
Yeah.
sitting on that counter. And
And the stuff in the cabinet, so maybe somebody pulled stuff out of the cabinets. And it's sitting on the counter.
Wow, okay. 'Cause, yeah, because it must have been in the cabinets, because I've never, I mean, like I said, I've opened it. Somebody in the office said, hey, check and make sure that, this is there, the waters, I know we were making the water, having the water be dripping at certain times and blah, 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 so.
If this is being sold right to the commercial, we need to have the county.
Probably. So at the center, we have, a yearly inspection on the hood. And our, smoke, fire extinguishers, which I'm sure the city does too.
Yep.
So that would probably all be included in that.
are you talking with the planning commission?
We talk some more after, maybe have to do something more in detail. I got an idea. Yeah. I'm
What
sorry.
are you talking about for the planning commission or just for the city? The code.
It's the whole Western County.
Oh,
Yeah. And then these people that have to, use it, have to have the food server.
Well, if they're going to serve
You-
an
you guys
event,
probably-
yeah, if they are serving an event and they are serving the public, they have to go to the health department and get a license. Health department will come out here and inspect. And what they're inspecting is not the equipment, but how they are, the people renting it have, their bleach bucket, their thermometers, their, all of that stuff, their gloves, everything. Taking temperatures of food to make sure that that's. Importantly is the refrigerator, because that refrigerator is wonky. And
Really surprise infections. So.
yeah, well, and. You want to keep a constant temperature and that thing fluctuates so much, so. The more food you put in there, the warmer it gets, and. So one thing I'm always worried about when the health department gets here, and I think they've made a note now that, it's a little funky animal. The thermometer, after I bought one thermometer, it went out, brought another one in, it was missing, so I got another one, I think, in there now, but.
Okay. All right.
They've never said anything about the actual. Appliances or anything.
Right. Okay. Nothing else? What's that?
Then when we come up with a title for it,
You have an idea what you'd like to call it?
looking at Jason's.
Yeah. It would just be kitchen. kitchen updates.
We're gonna have to kind of, you would say. Just get the new kitchen.
All right, item 8, unfinished business, they have nothing there. Board and staff comments, I'll start with Zach.
Question, I know that we have some parks, like having moved here now to Brent Hill as well and driving around. They're a little bit smaller, I know some of them flood. What about the possibility of turning one of them flood? About turning an area like that maybe into like a splash pad? Or, because you don't need a lot of space. And potentially looking to fundraise for, like, I have a 4-year-old as well, and there isn't really a lot of water options here in town. You know, you have to go to Fourth Grove or Hillsborough or something like that, but they could do something.
They won't let us develop the water flooding one to begin with.
Okay.
It's becoming partial to our park, right?
Okay.
And that's not because of the city, it's because of Clean Water
Clean Water
Services.
Oh, okay.
So,
We do have a small plant pad. And when the north side expansion when I was in here last time, talking about parks and the last 2 going in, we talked to them about skate park and a splash park.
Okay.
And I think they've only chosen to go with one of those things right now, which is going to be the skate park we've been working on.
We have talked about just digging it out a little bit further, taking that dirt, putting it up higher and making it deeper water.
Yeah. We've got UGB expansion coming up too, and we're gonna be defining a lot of parks within that too. Perfect. I think it's a great idea that we include stuff like that. I think the community is really interested in, so. Okay. I think the structure of our parks are gonna change a little bit from what happened on the north side expansion, but that's kind of keep going, working out. Gotcha. So,
We just gotta wait for the UGB stuff to finish up.
no. I feel the opposite about that. I think the Parks Master Plan has to be done first. But I don't think we're gonna get what we want in our UGB definition. Or. We'll have the outline approved here in the next, probably what, 3 months, 4 months, hopefully, maybe. And then we get to start defining what goes in those spaces. But if we don't have our parks defined, how do we know exactly what we're gonna get in there? So we have to wait another 20 years before we get to do that.
Do we have to have them actually defined or just have our wish list of what we want?
We'll have the Parks Master Plan and trail system defined before you go off and say, we're gonna put park here, we're gonna put park here, here's our trail system. I think that definition probably should have been in place even for this expansion. But,
I'm not sure if we are going to have developers that are going to be developing the parks, if we can, I'm not sure if we can dictate at this point. If they're the ones who are designing it.
yeah, the sizes and stuff too, and we can put in our master plan what we want for parks. And then they're gonna have to build to what we're asking for, so, but if we don't do it ever,
Yeah.
then they're just gonna do what they wanna do. Kind of what, we kind of let them have free reign with the north side, and we're not getting everything that we really want, but then again, because they're HOA parks, even though they come to us and we approve it and everything, they don't have to do what we ask for.
Mhm.
So, and I did see that they put a fence around the pickleball court out there finally. I drove by it today. I'm like, thank God. Yeah. I didn't want to see people chasing the ball out in the street, you know?
Yeah. That's, I think about it from, you know, a parent standpoint to, I mean, look at the weather and what we have. I mean, there's not a lot of water options around here. Right. We have a lot of playgrounds, you know, and we're adding more. We just finished one, but is there a need for some sort of an outdoor pool that offers a diving board or some sort of a splash pad or something that doesn't have to be big in scale, but offers something to people that want. I mean, it's in Wisconsin, it snows 6 months out of the year, the other 6 months, you have 4 parks per, you know, town basically to offer something like that. And it was a huge thing. I was wondering, as far as so many more people moving here and, you know, the love that people have for the city, what an outdoor water of some sort. You know, I mean, it seems like anywhere you go around here in the Hillsborough, Forest Grove, any sort of something that has water, there's a million people everywhere.
Yeah.
You know.
Third Avenue Park, they had one inside.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of people there, yeah.
Yeah.
Telling you, I've been working on everyone here to try to get an outdoor pool or pond or something. Just nowhere good to put it. That's why we're hoping we can annex the Lakeview Farm
I
water
know,
area.
I know one thing maintenance is an issue.
Mhm.
So that's one thing that we're up against a lot with, is just maintenance of, for sure, stuff like that, so. But I think it's time that we probably bring back to the community again, their checklist of what they'd like to see for parks. That we want to redo the parks master plan anyway. And maybe we do it at what we did at the Getty. Remember we had the board across.
Right.
And
Yeah.
asking for people's input and feedback on different types of farms.
Well, how would we fund the park, the maintenance and all of that?
We're not,
We need a full-on parks department,
we do,
we need one.
we do.
Yeah. And then the HOA, my second question is, the HOA. Are those parks staying HOAs? So, of my understanding that the Sunset Ridge was.
That's only one of our, after 5-year period, I think it is, it becomes a city park.
Okay,
But they've changed it now where HOA stays always HOA.
okay. Okay,
We don't have a lot to say about what goes on in parks, and I haven't gotten, I don't know if did you ever get any more information out of Andy about who updates those parks and when they're gonna update them and what are we gonna update them with, and
That's up to it's up to the HOA.
so we don't have a lot of control with what they're gonna do.
so the things that we can. What is our function with them then?
That's the park.
Oh,
And here's the size,
and we can tell them the size.
and we can ask them to do certain things, but they don't have to do what we ask them to do.
Obviously.
So,
You guys have HOA meetings that?
You know, we have meetings, I mean, we receive letters and things like that, but
I don't think.
It hasn't been, well, it hasn't been handed off to them.
No, I-
Still,
no.
I think they have to sell off or populate like 80% of it,
I think
and
it's-
then they can pass it off.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we have no sort of people.
Yeah, I was even, I mean, it doesn't have to be over there by any stretch. I was thinking if we have any other parks that potentially would accommodate a space that we haven't filled yet or maybe thought about.
We don't have any land right now.
Okay.
I think that's what Andy was advising me on is we're gonna wait until we get that land and see what we can do after the UGB is finished. But as far as what we need for parks, I think that's designated in the master parks plan. It's like you have to have such a size park every, so many acres or whatever. And I think that part, we just need to enforce it more than anything. But we don't know where it's gonna happen until the UGB is set.
Well, there's stuff that we need to get in the master plan, like right now in the NC section right now, which is the north side and the D side expansion. On the north side, we decided in that development in the NC section that we were going to do for every rooftop, 400 square foot goes for parks. Now, I don't know how that really went.
Did it go for city parks or did it go for HOA parks?
They're all
All parks and
They're
green
all-
space.
at any city parks.
I know there's a lot of green space.
And it includes the green space.
There's a lot of green
They
space.
consider that. It's all grouped together, parks and green space. So,
So that's why I'm really pushing the master plan as soon as we can. And we're already past the 3 to 5, or almost like 2 to 5 year here by end of year, so.
Just one question, sorry, being new, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So when people, want to reserve a park, is it only,
The only,
can it only be reserved by people in the HOA?
it will be controlled by the HOA.
Yeah, the city doesn't, the only thing we can reserve is Jesse Mays and the pavilion outside.
And that's it, right?
That's it. Everything else is, I mean, the smaller parks, we obviously don't reserve those at all. And then the bigger ones in Bryn Hill, that's, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, they're not. Okay, okay.
As of now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started walking, I saw
we had
it for me and I was like.
Oh, that was.
So the east side cover and stuff out there, we've had bands and stuff out there before.
Yes.
So we have to go to the HOA and ask permission to do it, and we have to have separate insurance and everything.
Oh, really?
So it's not, and that over there would never be to the,
On the other side.
on the north side, so I don't know. That's what's really hard of being HOA parks, because it's hard to plan stuff like that. We try and bring the community together by doing different things in different parks, but it's totally up to the HOA. I don't know if that's the direction that the council wants to take in the future. I think I need to go sit in front of the council and talk to the council about how it's going and how they want to do it in the future. So, that's not a decision that, I mean, we can make recommendations to the council, but I really need to get there. Yeah. Zach, did you have anything?
No, I was just,
I'm gonna write to Sherry, because she's been talking.
no,
Nothing more. Do you have anyone who wants to add to the comment?
No. You want my comments?
I hate the gravel
What?
out there.
Oh, the north side?
No, right here.
Right here.
Oh,
I'm with you.
they're talking about putting in grass. It's all over the dirt.
It is.
Yeah, that was not a little thought.
It wasn't, well, it wasn't meant to be gravel to begin with. I think that was the last ditch after. And I think they're looking at the grass right now, aren't they?
That was scratched last I heard because we have no irrigation over there.
Well,
That's why they put the gravel in, but that was all done before I got here.
they can be.
So what are they gonna do?
Right now, it's just gravel. There's no other plan at the moment. If we put grass right there, then we're gonna have to build a new irrigation system to fit it, and we're gonna have to dig up a lot of stuff around here that was just placed.
Right, but what about just cement? Or blacktop?
For the big one table, visit on.
Yeah, I mean, anything would be better than that gravel.
It didn't seem to work out very well.
No,
If they put a hill and put some shrub there.
well, but bark dust will then be pulled on.
Bark dust will get there anyway, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the cement's on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a full clean and wash it out and leave
Yeah.
it there.
I think a burn, put shrub.
Oh,
So from what I saw,
yeah, they need water.
It's gonna be more than 500 square feet, and that's gonna be a clean water services permit, and we're gonna have to figure out where all that runoff goes and all that other stuff. It's a mess in itself.
Extend the aspen or no?
Same thing.
so obviously I walked through Garlic Fest this weekend and they don't water over here, so why are you?
Well, they
worried
will
about
be watering that.
Yeah, they're putting in a
Yeah.
new system.
So,
We just didn't put it in because of garlic festivals coming in. They weren't gonna be ready in time.
okay. All right.
I don't have a good answer either. But I know I don't like the rock either.
No,
But
I watched a sad little scenario with I'm not sure if it was just an older father or a grandpa with probably a 4 or 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And he had a cup and he had rocks in it, and the guy told him, don't you dare take those rocks over to that play area. He
You
marched right over there and dumped it.
you see it already on the backside, people dumping rocks off of, that skinny thing right out there, it's like.
Makes well in the court and,
Yeah.
you know, I've been here with my kid and seen kids throw them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, you got cars and all that. I mean, yeah, I guess the more. The safer we can make it and more preventative maintenance with that,
Yeah.
the better off it would be. I mean,
When I saw that, I go like, that is just, they're asking for trouble. There's literally a little shop stand right next to the rocks. What are they gonna use to spend money? Oh, here's some nice rocks. They're gonna just keep bringing on to the
Yeah.
ground.
I agree, something does need to go.
Yeah.
Go there.
So what would be potential?
What else could we, what could, what else could we do? I haven't- So what-
Concrete.
What if it was some type of? So you know, the decking that's made out of, like a plastic.
Yeah.
What if it was just all composite decking out there? I mean,
It probably wouldn't be as hot as, is it as hot as concrete or blacktop?
and probably just that.
Well,
I'm trying to think of something that's pleasing that, you know,
Well. I don't know, I think they're gonna mark it up or. I don't know. The other comment I have is, I don't know if I told you this at our meeting. There was a birthday party here and they took all the picnic tables out from underneath the covered area, put them out into the turf. And then had food out there, other than that,
I thought it was, those were bolted.
no,
No.
no.
We have to put a sign up there so that do not.
Probably. Yeah,
Can we get a sign up there?
or in,
For a number of other things as well, yes.
do they have a contract, they sign a contract when they
Yes,
print it?
yes,
Can you make
Does
that?
it say that on that contract not to move the picnic table?
it does not, I don't think.
It doesn't say anything, but we can add that.
Yeah, and then I would make them sign it, understand that you do not move it and fine it. That's what I have to do with my farm these days.
Can you add it to the? All right.
Well, I
Lord, anything else? How the festival go? I had a lot of people.
we have not a lot of people. It was, overall, it was very good. There were some, bad areas like the runners, 2 weeks before the event, the whole board resigned. I have no idea why they wouldn't tell me.
No, they didn't tell us either. the guy.
I have my suspicions, but,
Uh,
they did not have porta potties at the start and the finish. I hear they had beer.
They also parked in a business parking lot that was,
Not approved.
that was not approved and they were open and the employees couldn't get in.
Which
To
one's
work.
that?
The food,
Oh, that, yeah.
you know what I'm talking
Starts
about.
on S.
Yeah,
Summit, yeah.
some foods, yeah.
oh, mhm.
Yeah.
We had concerns about the parking and he assured us,
They were supposed to all be parking in the field.
yeah,
And they weren't supposed to do any closures of roads or anything like that.
They what?
They weren't supposed to do any closures of any roads, and I heard that they had kind of closed down the road over there, and that's part of the reason why they had problems at the business.
I am. The guy that took it over, I had also asked him about, paperwork for the city, the paperwork for the county. And I told him, so this was the Thursday, so like 2 weeks before the event. He called me and he asked me all these different questions and, I said, contact the city, contact the county. I said, your signs out on the county road need to be out there this weekend. And he goes, have a good evening.
yeah,
And he just,
yeah. That's kind of how we dealt with him in the office too.
yeah. Frankly, I think they should have canceled the race.
They waited too late they were rushing and they didn't know what they were
Right.
doing and it,
Back to the done
Oh, yeah, they've done it for a number of years, but.
but nobody,
Obviously, whoever took it over
had no clue.
I had met him years ago, or a few years ago, when they started using Wayne's property.
Mhm.
But I don't think he was not on the board.
No.
He was not deeply involved in it. I think he was just a volunteer helping and didn't know all the aspects of what it really took to do the event, and he was just left with what he could do, which was, they have no drinking water, but they had beer. I want to know if they have an OLCC license, because.
Not through us, they didn't.
No porta potties. Yeah,
We didn't have.
Very poor planning.
That Commercial street and the runners had to cross commercial.
Yeah,
Street.
they-
It's very dangerous. Because all the parade and clothes and tractors and.
Who do they go to the beginning of, do they go to the Garlic Festival Board to do that one? Or they go to the city?
City.
Really, so when they used to have it here, we had a little more connection, you know, they started it out here.
Right.
But they've always been on their own, really. They just wanted to have it part of their, circuit. And, as long as they followed all of the rules,
Well, Sears said it was very disappointing this year because they ran up to a certain point and turned around and came back.
down.
And so it wasn't even as pretty as it used to. I mean, it used to be a nice run for them and now it's not.
So I'm not sure why they did that. Did the county not allow them to go up there? What, I don't know what their thinking was. Or did they not have the manpower, which is
Right.
probably.
I'm not sure because I thought they gave me a loop.
Well, that's what they've always done in the past is, you know, they go up Shady Brook, up
By
Pumpkin Ridge,
Pumpkin Ridge.
Old Pumpkin Ridge.
I'm
Down
sure
past
he
the golf
didn't
course.
have the people. He probably
Yes.
didn't have the volunteers to support.
Right, so it was just enough to do it. That one, yeah. I know that Bailey did tell him that next year they need to start,
Way in advance.
yeah, they need to contact us 3 months in advance, so we're prepared. And this happened with the beer vendor that was gonna be on commercial too for the car show. He waited until the week before to request approval from us for an OLCC license, and I said, we can approve it, but it takes 3 to 4 weeks from OLCC. You'll never get approval in time. And so he said, okay, then let's bag it. It's that tap room that's, God, what's it called? No, it's at the exit of Murray, I think. Nope.
No.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, so.
Yeah, anyway, he said, yeah, I'm kind of late on, and I said, you're very late.
That's really interesting because.
Did he even talk to you about it?
No, I was talking with, Jasmine,
At Peak?
because she's in charge of the car show.
Yeah, so
And
she,
I told her months ago, months, not weeks, months ago, if you're going to have someone there who's serving alcohol, you have to have an OLCC license. She goes, he knows all the rules. He knows exactly what to do.
yeah, because he was talking, he was gonna have 3 monitors, one at Main and one at 313th.
Well, OLCC will not take an application any further out from 3 weeks anymore. We used to do ours for the Garlic Festival, the 1st of June. And then last year, I believe, they changed it. And they said you cannot send in an application any earlier than 3 weeks.
Well, he certainly didn't want to push that because it was like 5 days. And we knew that OLCC wouldn't,
Right.
they wouldn't have time to approve it, so. Yeah.
But that wasn't really what I wanted. Even though Russ said, as far as he was concerned, they were on their own and it wouldn't have anything to do with us. So, no, we didn't have the volunteers to do it. No, the parade went really well. There was a lot of people there.
I wish somebody would post more pictures on Facebook. I didn't see very many.
Once I wake up a little bit, I will.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, parade was great.
There's a lot of stuff to pick up.
First time we didn't have really kids, so we didn't go. So,
Oh, the parade was huge. I mean, I think we had 14 applications and ended up with 30 some floats or whatever you want to call it.
That's great.
So, yeah. I will say we cleaned along all the roads and it was the dirtiest Garlic Festival I've ever seen.
They had a lot of fun. didn't they?
Yes, they did. And, well, right.
Hmm.
But every straws, you name it, was, yeah, but. We rode around in 90-degree weather in the golf cart and got it cleaned up.
Will the elf have a garbage can every so often or not?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
No,
Not usually for events like that.
no, we just did what we could.
Okay, Evan.
Yeah.
So, Cameron is still working on the dog park. right?
Yes, they are
They'll get
in,
back
right?
to us When they're ready.
Yes, we have a meeting coming up soon. I don't have the date offhand. I think it's at the end of the month, Friday, 28th or something like that. But me and Andy will talk to them about that, and it's gonna be basically, as far as I know, they're gonna be doing like a service project and providing for, the materials and stuff for the dog park.
Mhm.
So
And which
Where would
one-
that be?
Where are we going to use that?
That's where the, Pacific.
Pacific Purple Park, since we can't really do anything else because of floods.
So, only other thing I had was YMCA. Is not working out very well right now. is it?
They are.
They are.
For this week,
This week.
this week, the other two,
This is the last one now.
Yes.
That's been the problem.
do you know what it's been? Has it been the price or?
I don't know what the exact problem is, other than people want to sign up.
Oh.
But I think the one next week, we got word from,
Oh, is it next week? Yeah, next week.
What is his name?
Oh, I can't remember what his name is.
Travis Shelton.
Okay.
We got word that the camp is going to be run here at Jesse Mays. Not this week, but next week.
Great. That's great, because the other ones they had canceled, right? Yeah,
Which is really sad because so many people have been asking for programs,
I know.
and stuff and,
What's their outreach? Curiosity, somebody with kids, I've never.
so.
Think about it,
So we, as soon as they agreed to it, we started putting their full-size flyers in the newsletter. We posted them all over town. We had it on our webpage. We had it on all of our social media. And this was, 2 months maybe, or 6 weeks before the first week. These are week-long, each one of them, 3 of them. And I didn't find out until about 3 weeks ago that the first 2 didn't even happen. I don't remember, $140. Does that sound right?
I think they were more than that. They seemed pretty expensive because I think I would have had to dish out like $500 for my 2 kids. And I think in this time, it's just was kind of a lot.
Yeah, I wondered if that was part of the problem. I don't know. And
Because we're out of, not part of Hillsborough.
No.
That's the reason.
That's a normal rate.
Is it?
with one.
Now, I don't know, do you know if YMCA had to pay the grade school to use their facilities? Because the first 2 were at the new grade school. And so I'm assuming they probably had to pay a fee. But I don't,
Is this one cheaper than the other 2?
I don't know.
I don't know the cost.
But the YMCA guy said that price that they quoted initially even was all that's included.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
I don't know.
Can I make a suggestion if they want to do it again next year, to have it all pre-planned and have flyers at home with the kids from school before they leave school, because parents are planning in May for what their kids are gonna be doing in June, July, August. So if they have that.
So I think what we need to do is when we get past this one here, we need to invite the YMCA guy back. Like where we're meeting again and talk to them about it, maybe make some suggestions that may help. With our situation, we'll find. Okay. That's all
I
had.
think sorry. I was just gonna say, I think the quality principal did send it. That's actually how I initially saw it. And then I saw it on Facebook. So she actually did send home flyers, but I just think pricing and like, since the schools are tapped into Hillsborough Park and Rec, or, we have that capability to use that and just, it's definitely cheaper and like they have a lot of free summer events. So I think it was just a hard time, especially if you have multiple kiddos to do that, you know?
So Cameron, do you have any comment for it from city council?
I don't think so. Lovely to see you guys. And I always love sitting in on your meetings. Love parks.
We enjoyed having you too.
Thank you.
All right.
Let me see, we're doing cleanup of the garlic festival stuff. We're working on the courts tomorrow. Let me see, other things that have come in through emails. One thing that we can talk about maybe for fundraising is someone had brought up with the pickleball courts, possibly painting new lines on the basketball court for another pickleball court, maybe add a backdrop. There's a couple of things that we could probably do, you know, real quick.
How many nets do we have right now? Each has two.
Two,
Could we pick up a couple more possibly? Is there enough in budget for that?
possibly.
I know they're usable.
It's,
Courts are always-
it is actually really used a lot and might
Especially Sunday morning.
have to implement a reservation system, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a guy in town that he's posted that he'll do lessons. I mean,
I went into a lady one day, I
Yeah.
stopped and talked to her and she posted it out there waiting for people. to
yep,
show
it's
up.
huge. It's the biggest sport right now across the country for non-professional. I mean, it's really picking up. So yeah, we may have to end up reserving those, which
I will say there was a ton of comments at the Garlic Festival about how wonderful it was.
And it worked out really well. It actually provided us a little more extra space.
Did it
Yes.
really?
For
Oh, yeah.
meetings and whatnot.
But we need to cover at the end because it's hotter than Hades on the end at like 5 to 4 to 7.
I wouldn't have a problem on that side, isn't it?
It was hot. It was hot.
Yeah, it turned out really well.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Good. Okay, anything else? Dustin?
For now, that's it.
Okay. If there's no other comments or anything, then maybe.
Also, on record saying that the public works guys were amazing.
Yes.
And I also put that here.
Yeah, with all of it. We had one, trouble with the plug. I called Cody. He was in front of me with his family and he went and looked at it and, they did great. Absolutely great.
And the whole week set up.
Yeah.
They were great.
I will
Pass that
relay,
on.
I will pass that on.
All right, very good. Oh, we'll close the meeting at 7:08. Thank you, everyone.